Welcome back. We're in session 4, Bible Studies for Life. We're in 1 Peter, another week here. Today it's 1 Peter chapter 3, verses 8 through 17. And excited about this passage. I want us to think about this passage in the idea of the things that we say. And let's think, maybe even as we try to apply this, I think it might be good, boy, especially today, if you're in social media at all, to think about what goes on your Facebook, what comments you make, what happens on Twitter, how we respond to things, how we measure what we say, how we honor God, how we do the things that bring glory to Him in what we say, and not things that just satisfy our ego or maybe help us to feel a little bit better about who we are and other people a little bit worse about who they are. Okay, so let's think about that. Today we're going to look here at first verses, verse 8 and 9. Finally, all of you be like-minded and sympathetic, love one another, be compassionate and humble, not paying back evil for evil or insult for insult, but on the contrary, giving a blessing, since you were called for this, so that you may inherit a blessing. Boy, here is the challenge, isn't it? I mean, the challenge is laid out in verse 9. Don't give evil for evil. Don't give insult for insult. Does that sound familiar to anybody? Does it sound like any place where you might have read comments about anything? Does it sound anything at all like the way we often react and respond to one another? Don't play insult for insult, but on the contrary, give a blessing. Give a blessing, for you were called for this, so that you may inherit a blessing. You want a blessing? Give a blessing. Be a blessing. May your words be a blessing and not an insult. May your words encourage and not discourage. The things that we say, look at how he describes our overall attitude here, saying, we should be like-minded, be sympathetic, love one another, be compassionate and humble. Boy, this is a great challenge, isn't it, to say that I want to be sympathetic to people. I want to be loving to people. I want to be compassionate to people. I'm going to be humble. I love this. I did a lot of reading and thinking about, and I love the idea of liberty and what our liberty means and what free speech means and all of that. And I'll tell you that free speech requires humility. For me to allow you to say whatever you want to say, I've got to be humble enough to realize that there may be value in something that you say, and I've got to be ready and willing to listen. Humility means that I'll listen to you. I'll let you say what you need to say. And if we're not willing to do that, we show a lack of humility, which is damning to us. I mean, it reveals who we are. When we don't allow others to have their say, it reveals our own pride, that we don't think there's anything anybody else can say that is going to enlighten us, that's going to have any truth in it, that's going to be helpful to us in our life, that's going to help us get through any understanding. This is why it's so important that we be humble and that we allow others to have their say, and that we not pay back the insult for insult. When they spew evil, don't give them evil back. Give a blessing back. Well, how do you do that? Well, that's called being Christian, isn't it? And sometimes it is being quiet. It is just saying, I can't say it. I just have to keep my mouth shut. I have to understand how to measure my words, how to say the right thing when I want to say the right thing, how to say it in the right way, how to not just tap it out real quick and then send it, but to really consider what should I say, not what could I say. And boy, there's a difference between those. We really need to be careful about that. And then I love this. Let him turn away from evil and do what is good. Let him seek peace and pursue it, because the eyes of the Lord are on the righteous and his ears are open to their prayer. But the face of the Lord is against those who do what is evil. I just really like this part I underlined here. Seek peace and pursue it. Look, folks, peace does not just show up. Peace does not just appear. We have to seek after it. We have to work for it. We have to pursue it. We have to go after it. We make peace. Peace doesn't just occur naturally. Strife, anger, these things occur naturally. We must seek peace. We must pursue peace. If we want peace in this world, we're going to have to go after it. We're going to have to be peacemakers. and peacekeepers, that is keeping the peace that is there. We've got to go after that peace. It doesn't just happen. And I think the church has a responsibility here, because the church is the one that knows what real peace is. The church is the one that knows the Prince of Peace. We've got to bring peace. And we've got to be peacemakers, pursuing peace, not trying to stir things up, but pursuing peace. Then he says, but in your hearts regard Christ the Lord as holy. Right there. Okay. Regard Christ as holy. Ready at any time to give a defense to anyone who asks you for a reason for the hope that is in you. Yet do this with gentleness and respect, keeping a clear conscience, so that when you are accused, those who disparage your good conduct in Christ will be put to shame. We've talked about this a little bit before, about putting to shame others with the way that we live, but I just, maybe we've seen this verse 15, to be ready at any time to give a defense, right? To anyone, at any time to give a defense to anyone who asks you, why do you have hope? What's going on? But I want you to look at a couple of the other adjectives that describe here. Do this with gentleness and respect. Do it with gentleness and respect. Do we need to say that again? Preach the gospel, teach the gospel, share the gospel with gentleness and respect. Gentleness and respect. Don't lord it over people. Don't beat them over the head with it. The way that we talk, the attitude that we have, not just the words that we say, but the attitude that we have, our composure, the way we carry ourselves with gentleness and with respect, to honor people, not to belittle them, not to convince them of why they're wrong, but to share with them what is right. Gentleness and respect. For it is better to suffer for doing good, that should be God's will, than for doing evil. He says, you do what's right, and people will see it. But we always know, we know, right, that just because people see it and they know we're doing what's right does not mean they will respect it, they will honor it, and they will exalt us for doing it. Sometimes they will hate it, and they will despise us, and they will punish us. Okay? That's going to happen. Do not think that if you say the right thing, you say it in the right way, and you carry on all of the ways that you ought to do it, that suddenly people are just going to go, well, what a great person you are. You're so perfect and wonderful. I'm so glad I know you. Some people will, but some people will still hate you. They will still despise you. They will still revile you. They will still cancel you on Facebook. They will still do whatever, right? It's better to suffer for doing good, if it's God's will, than it is for doing evil. It's better, if we're going to suffer, we might as well suffer for doing the right thing. If you're going to do the right thing, do the right thing, because the right thing's always the right thing. It's never too late to do the right thing, right? If you suffer for doing the right thing, well, that's what happens. So think about this as you think about what we say, how we interact with other people, how we respond to them on social media, how we respond to them in person. Be willing to listen, have humility, have gentleness, have respect in the way we deal with others. God bless you. Thanks for watching today. I hope this was helpful to you. Y'all have a great week, and we'll see you next time.